Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Oakland Athletics. In our previous episode, we completed the wonderful and glorious offseason. Let's see what we've done to make the team better, or at least different. Alfredo Mesa was, I say, our big LOL acquisition. He really wasn't that big. He's actually fairly inexpensive. He's fairly young. His only problem is that he does get hurt quite frequently, but he offers us a nice chunky bat in the middle of the lineup. Robbie Herbertson is such an interesting player. I don't really want him to be a DH, but I know that if we don't make him play, the game will just bench him for reasons I don't understand. Jorge Gallego is your last year's batting champion. I have absolutely no expectations of replicating this. So we'll see what happens. Youngster Sean Mintz is taking over as the catcher for at least one season, and we'll see how this works out. I like his combo of offense and defense, and I think it's going to make him very useful to us. And then good old pal Ian Giuliano comes out for his second season. Giuliano is always going to be a really interesting kind of player because of his skill set. He reminds me a little bit of the shortstop we have in the KBO series, in that a lot of his value comes from his defense, but his skills suggest he could be a league average hitter. And especially his elite speed means if he's able to steal lots of bases and play really good defense, it'll more than justify his talent level. Our pitching staff is mostly the same as last year, with Sam Feeney getting kicked up into the rotation, which is where I wanted him all along. Deviney is going to get a full season as a starting pitcher. I'm looking forward to that and making sure that he can unleash his pitching power. Brexton May, we also had last season. We acquired him through trade. So I will put up our rotation against just about anybody's. Our bullpen is very much in flux, though. Because we lost Joel Volpert and we had no chance to bring him back, which, whatever. We have to build a bullpen a little bit more to spare parts. Chris Riggins was our other reasonably big free agent acquisition. He fills a leadership role. He is a captain. But more importantly, he seems like he could be a really solid starting or relieving pitcher for us. We also added in Andy Daly. Mr. Daly is somebody we traded for last season, and he's getting an opportunity to pitch in the big leagues. But everybody else here is a long-time A. I've had Nelson Vigil for forever, it seems like, but no, I guess not. I guess maybe this is his first season out of the complex. There's a small part of me that wants to say, let's not force Espinoza to play first. I think he could handle third. But here's the thing. If I take Herbertson off of DH, my concern is that they're just going to bench Espinoza. Or Espinoza play DH, which I guess wouldn't be terrible. Let's try an experiment. If I turn him off of DH, how do you rebuild the lineup? I see what you're doing. So essentially, what you do is you bench Herbertson against left-handed pitching in favor of Juan Escobedo. I don't mind that. I would like Escobedo to get more playing time rather than less. But I trust my manager, at least for now I do. And so I'm comfortable with that. Does Herbertson have a real big platoon disadvantage, or is it just I want to get the guy in the game? No, he's about the same. Little better against righties. Little better. Alright, amigos. I feel reasonably good about this offense. It's certainly not perfect. And let's have this expectation immediately. Enjoy Santiago Luna. Oh, I do have one more team option with him. I thought this was his last team option here. That's awesome. Yeah, that ain't happening. He is gone after this year, I think. After next year, I think. There's a chance to do it opts out of his contract. If that's the case, I'll be very sad. But we've got to make some hard choices, too. We've got to try to find quality players that we know will be consistently solid. Because we got a whole lot of people due for an arbitration bump. Look at this. Our salary's going to increase by, what is it, almost 25%? More than that. Because increasing by about $40 million. A little less than that. Which is not quite a third of this payroll. I don't know, math is hard. About 30% or so, I'd say. All right. Let us baseball, friends and neighbors. Let us baseball. A player designated for assignment, you say? Ah, yes. These two guys. Chris Cunningham in particular is such a disappointment. I had such high expectations for him. But you know what he decided was optional? Control. He added velocity, but the moment he did, he couldn't throw strikes. And that has severely crippled him as a pitcher. I don't see him ever making the big leagues at this point. I truly don't. I've been wrong before. So maybe it's possible that he has a nice little bounce back and makes a career out of it, but that can happen. It's another reason why I'm again begging for some level of control of what players work on in player development. I really think that'd be a lot of fun and add a lot of immersion to the game. Because right now it's just like, come on, play better. And I understand that's how it works in the majors, right? But you can also have a coach say, hey, Sean DeWitt, your mechanics are off. You're uppercutting your swing when you shouldn't be. Let's level that out. I said strippers Cubs, Donnybrook. I was like, that sounds like fun. Poor Mike Reed. Cabral is the best hitter in the Texas League. Is he in the Independents? No, he isn't. Player development. Feeney got worse. That's disappointing. Other players did get better, though. Ed Simmons and Raleigh Aldrit both got better. That's fun. That's reasonably fun. But nothing really crazy has happened, so let's just plow on through to the next month of the season. I'm noticing we're struggling to score a little bit. And Robbie Herbertson missing 5 weeks probably won't do us any favors. But we shall allow him to recover. Oh, this bullshit game. I am infuriated. I'm not. I am slightly irritated. That is where I am right now. So I realistically don't really need an infielder. No, I guess I do. I really do want to carry 6 infielders. But only if they can hit. Thing is, Edgar Soto can hit, but he can't play the infield. I really need more infielders. Irvin Reyes wouldn't be terrible. I'll call him up for now. But gosh, we gotta get some better infielders. We truly do. Edgar Soto, I'm gonna turn you into an infielder if I can find a good one. Prospects, please. I like Josh Young's versatility. I don't love his offense, though. Chris Ward is only a third baseman and not a great one at that. I suppose it's unfair of me to expect, like, tremendous talent, given what I'm offering, but I think Julio Grajeda is probably the best overall of these choices here. We'll do that. Soto might end up being a reasonably good player. I don't know that, but the thing is, I just don't have a place for him on this current roster. I have way too many outfielders. I should probably do something about that at some point. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of games where we're just not scoring runs, which is very disappointing. This is equally disappointing. I think I have a relatively competent center fielder. Yeah, what about Mr. Dunlap here? You can definitely play the position. Yeah, you're in, buddy. Play good. Play good baseball. Baseball good. Chris Coglianese. What an Italian name. That is one of the most Italian names of all time. Bobby Stoll got better. Braxton May got worse. Luis Perales is getting better. Shamar Pamphile is borderline ready for the majors. Wait, did Mike Muncy not throw a fastball before? That's funny. That is genuinely funny. I do enjoy seeing overall rating increase, but it concerns me when it's only starting to happen this late into their careers. Not a lot of development going on, sadly. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do before I decide anything else is Pamphile is way too good to keep in the minors now. Who did you bench out of the rotation? Braxton May. I mean, whatever makes you happy, game. But no, I think we got to get Pamphile into the roster. Yeah, Centennial can leave. Boop. What a fourth round pick you have been. I think you're going to be something really special. Alright. Next step is Mesa is day to day. We kind of knew that coming in, didn't we? How are we doing this here? We are badly struggling to score runs. How the fuck does Chris Portillo keep making his way into the lineup? How? What possible leverage do you have that you are constantly getting playing time that you haven't earned? I'm trading him. I cannot have Chris Portillo on this league anymore. Our manager clearly has some sort of deep, deep lust for him, and it's not healthy, especially when you suck. So fuck off immediately and keep fucking off until I never see you again. Some managers, guys, they just get a hard on for one particular kind of player, and it's like, no, stop. Don't do that. I like Josh Lynch's bat quite a lot. We have some really decent choices here, so let's take our time and try to find the best one. I did notice Jeff Gardner. See, the value of Jeff Gardner is entirely in his ability to hit home runs. I don't think he has the secondary offensive skills to be successful if he does fail to hit home runs. I don't think he's a good investment. Let's go down to the bottom and slowly go up. Anybody that's green is going to get a look that isn't a pitcher. You know what? Let's make this easier to sort through, and let's remove pitchers, because that's really what I'm looking at. I'm looking to replace offensively. We're going to go bottom to top. Mike Dixon. Dixon is a perfectly cromulent player. He's all around decent at the different positions, but nothing out of the ordinary. He's in the maybe pile. Lazaro Sandoval is power and nothing else. Jeff Gardner is power and little else. Josh Lynch is a really well-rounded bat. And I think that's his greatest skill. That's a possibility. Juan Rojas is vaguely interesting, but I don't think that's enough to take him. I genuinely think we're going to take Josh Lynch. I know he's not technically an outfielder, so I also need to call somebody up. But I don't see anybody else that offers the upside that he does. Tommy Morrison, again, is just another one of these guys that's a well-rounded player. But no, I think it's going to be Lynch, unless Barrios here is fantastic, which he isn't. It's Josh Lynch. Why do I like Lynch more than the others? It's because he has one elite tool, which is his ability to make contact. Coupled with enough power to make that contact deadly, I think he's an excellent candidate, and I think we're going to make this trade. More importantly, it breaks your fucking weird dependence on that jackass. Danny Bowman's going to get called up. Like, I always just find it hilarious that we're like, oh no, what are we going to do with Chris Portillo? He must get into the lineup every single day. It reminds me of, like, Terry Francona, who would pick, like, who would just become obsessed with certain places, always put them in the lineup. I want to say Ernie Miller, but I don't think that was his name. Ernie Clement. That's the guy. Yeah, this really average player who just kept getting in the lineup all the time. Owen Miller is the other one. Miles Straw should not be playing every day, and if he is, he should be batting, like, 10th. And yes, I know it's a joke, because there were 9 people in the lineup, but yeah, he's terrible. Anyway, so that change has been completed. Hopefully we'll see some positives out of that. Part of this is just players not hitting where we expect them to hit. In particular, Espinoza should not be playing this poorly. I think he's off to a cold start, and he will heat up as the season progresses. So I have every faith in Mr. Espinoza to turn in another very solid season. Hughes is also way off his pace, although he is getting to the point where we can't really count on his offense. And then Mintz is way too young. We have no idea what to actually expect from him, so we're gonna ride it out. I have a feeling we're gonna get some really good benefits with just getting Portillo out of the lineup, and I think our pitching is still plenty damn good. Making a lot of errors somehow. We will worry about that another time, though. Let us baseball some more, shall we? By the way, Mr. Giuliano, low-key, you might have gotten picked. because of how freaking incredible it looks like Dunlap is going to be. Man, I am not able to put together a sustained winning streak. That's really a bummer. I do want Herbertson back quite badly. Let's activate him. And then let us advance time. Alright, do we want Giuliano back? Probably. Yeah, I think we do. I think I'm going to send Dunlap back to the minors. And just let him get more practice hitting AAA pitching so that he can unlock his full offensive talent. Nice job, Alfredo Meza. Nice job. Man, the Angels are off to a fantastic start this year. I don't know if we're going to be able to catch them or not. Okay. Player development. Mintz got a little better in some ways. Herbertson got a little bit better as a relief pitcher. Stop pitching him. Okay. David Campos is making some strides. That's good to see. Of course, who wants a highly touted prospect to keep his abilities? We all just want them to decay. Oh my god. So it is July 1st. We have improved. If you remember, at one point we're at 11. 11th, we're now up to 8th in runs scored, which is very good. Very good, very suitable. We're still waiting for some of the hitters to get back to what we expect. Like, Sean DeWitt hitting 238 is insane. This is not him. And so hopefully he picks that back up real quick here. Why is Feeney struggling? He's walking people a lot, but it's not like he hasn't done that before. He's been a much better pitcher. He's given up homers a bit. That's discouraging. We need to take a look at my defense. There's somebody on the defense that's really struggling. I hate to say who I think it is, but I think I know who it is. I think it's Luna. It isn't Luna. He is the most error-prone of our players, so is Gallego. I don't think our problem is that our defense is bad. I think the problem is that it's not exceptional. We don't have, other than Giuliano, who's been amazing, and even Sean DeWitt has been a fantastic defender, but for the most part, we don't have those elite defenders that can paper over mistakes from the others. Like, looking at the likely column, this should all be over 75%. Some players struggling badly. Mesa's one of them. It is what it is. Yeah, Mesa's a really bad outfielder. And, like, this is matched by what we expect from him. That's not what he's here for. He's here to hit lots of baseballs really hard. And so even if he's not playing defense that well, we can sort of soak that. Luna is becoming an issue. He'd be an elite third baseman. Um, but all that being said, I don't think it's defense necessarily. If that was the case, FIP would be significantly lower for most of our hitters, and for the most part, it seems like it isn't. I want to add FIP minus, because I think that's one of the most useful stats. Where are you? There you are. FIP minus. I'm going to drag this over to here. And then we're going to save it as pitching stats. There we go. Okay. Why does FIP minus matter? FIP minus tells you whether your FIP is higher or lower than your ERA, basically speaking. No, that's actually not correct. It's adjusted. Oh, keep in mind, 100 is bad. Because it's a minus stat, which means that Chris Bork is not pitching well, which we can already tell. Whereas currently, Ben Bilbrey is pitching amazingly well. Yeah. So it's just a really good moniker of how well they're doing at the things that pitchers can control. A pitcher cannot control what happens to the ball once it hits the batter's bat. I think I've mentioned this before, but it's just such an important concept to keep in mind, is that defense plays a huge role in how good a pitcher is. A pitcher can control three things. Three things are within the pitcher's control independently without the defense getting involved. Strikeouts, walks, and home runs. So pitchers that can suppress walks and home runs but get lots of strikeouts are great pitchers. ERA doesn't capture that. ERA doesn't care about that. ERA only cares about how many runs you allow. But sometimes it's based on your defense. Now, the good news is a lot of our players have reasonably good FIPs, which means the defense isn't the problem. In fact, if we look at someone like Chris McDevitt, it looks like the defense is really bailing him out. Because according purely to the things that don't involve defense, he has almost a run higher. Relievers are very, very, what's what I'm looking for? Are very fungible. They change a lot. We need a pitching leader. That's something I think we need quite badly. A pitcher who can just take over and dominate in the bullpen. We have good pitchers in the bullpen. They're just not being used to their greatest effect. But we'll have to see how that goes in a little bit. We're not getting on base a ton. That may be something to try to find a way to fix. Really what we need is we need Sean DeWitt to start hitting. If we can get DeWitt started, the rest of the lineup will follow suit. I said Gallego was due for a big drop-off, and he has been. He's still a very talented player, but let's be realistic. Leading the league in doubles is never something we should have expected. If this is what he is, though, that's still valuable. Like, he's still a good player that I want to keep around. But we can't expect him to 350. Like, that's just not realistic. We can expect him to hit, which he is. We expect him to draw some walks, which he is. And we expect him to hit with a little bit of pop, which he is. Let us go ahead now and advance to the first-year player draft. What was they going to sign him with? You wouldn't give me any fucking money. I have not done that. The problem is these international players aren't developing. Okay. I also take a quick moment to not like whine, but at least complain a little bit. I don't know what OOTP did to their player model this year. But it seems like player development, no matter how much money you put into it, isn't working. And I think they're almost helping us, players, to manually control the minor leagues. Because something that's been happening the entire time we've played with the A's franchise, I guarantee it's happening right now, is that most of my minor league teams are a dumpster fire. And nothing seems to be fixing it either. Like, short of, like, getting super granular and adding all kinds of people to the minor leagues, which I can't do, by the way, because if I do that, then they also control the releases and they'll start releasing good players. Something has to change about the player model. It has to. Because I see it on Reddit all the time. And all the advice people get to help your people is basically get deeply involved in the minor leagues. I have neither the desire nor the bandwidth to do that. I just don't. I'm not expecting genius brilliance, but I am expecting a reasonable amount of automation to make it happen. Because one of the big things why players are developing is that they're all hitting like crap. Like, let's take a highly touted prospect. Let's look at, say, who are my top prospects right now? Let's look at the prospect pipeline. We haven't done this in a while. Oakland. Nelson Vigil. Got all the ratings in the world. And he's actually hitting fairly well, too, which is unusual. But then you get to a guy like Luis Ramos, and look at this shit. How do I actually open? Here we go. Like, look at his awful, awful track record. The guy doesn't hit. Which is a real shame. But he doesn't hit. At one point, we thought he could hit. But he just doesn't hit for contact. And that is a huge problem. He also doesn't play very often. And again, I have that setting set correct, where I have them starting people. Yeah, he should be playing every day. If he isn't, yeah, because that's what it should be. And we do it on current ratings, by the way. We'll get better performance, but we'll also not see players develop. At the end of the day, minor league stats don't matter. In terms of, I don't care if we win every game or lose every game. I care the players develop. And it has been a long-ass time since we have had somebody come up and play well offensively that we drafted. We're more often not having to trade for other people's successful development projects because ours just don't work for whatever reason. So, hopefully OOTP can fix that somehow. Because I don't know about you guys, but I do not have... I'll do that set to assign free agents. There you go. I do not have the capacity to sit there and mess with that stuff. I just don't. Look to the front office. Let's look at personnel. Because that's the other thing we need to do right now is deal with this stuff here. Good for you, Julio Gaitan. You want to give me a decent reliever for a youngster? The only reason I don't like this is I don't have a role for him right now. But I will take it under advisement. Let us offer some new contracts. Alright. So first things first. How's the staff chemistry? The staff chemistry is content. But it's not great. I don't know how we fix the chemistry issues, though. Because the problem is, okay, we don't like personable people. So you're the personable people. So then what do we like? Well, we like personable people. That's the issue. What are people that are controlling? Okay, well, who's controlling? Oh, okay. So I don't know how to fix this without doing something pretty drastic. We can let Goddard walk, mostly because I don't have... I'm not using him, right? Minor league coaches all get extensions. And any that I didn't get, we'll figure out if we want to make it happen. I really want to keep Michael Soto. I genuinely think he is a good coach. And I want him to coach with some level of skill. You are completely fine. I don't ever see you getting a bigger role, I don't think. Oh, here it goes. Only just a 2. Okay. So yeah, we're going to let Goddard walk, and we're going to try to pick up a new coach to help with the issues there. Just have a great curveball. You're not wrong about that, my scouting friend. All right. Sean Creamer. What a guy. What a name. But he's not going to remember by the time I draft. Like, I'm not going to fool myself there. Okay. Third base is a bit of an organizational weak spot. So I kind of want to focus there. Let's start by looking at Dusty Flanagan. Dusty Flanagan is a pretty good third baseman. He's got good contact and power. A pretty good glove at third. I'd be happy to have him. Let's make sure we can't do better, though. Let's look at Luis Moreno. Moreno is a better hitter. Like, he's a better all-around offensive player. But he's not as good defensively. I do think Dusty Flanagan is the right call. Let's draft him. Done. All right. Brandon Bays slipped. I sort of see why he did. Because he's not a great outfielder. But he's got some elite tools here. I think he is very much worth drafting. All right. I have 26 catchers in the organization. That seems excessive. That seems really excessive. 26 catchers. That's fine. I probably should stop drafting catchers. Alright. What do I want now? I like Vince Callison a lot. Oh my gosh, is he a good all-around player? Yes, definitely we're drafting him. He's so good. He's got so many skills. He's so well-rounded. And he's a very competent defender. Like, there's no downside to him at all. He's played for a really good school, too. So, like, these numbers are legit. I love it. Let's do it. Jerry Colker is fine. Dan Mendoza is slightly better. I also love his nickname, so we're going to take Dan Mendoza instead. Unless Tyreek Abelard is good. He's not a good second baseman. He's not really an infielder. I want to get at least one pitcher. Oh, Bob Conitzer really wants a big contract. I'm not going to give it to him. There are some warning flags here. He's got bad movement, but he's got 3 good pitches. He's got an unusual arm slot, but he's still fairly durable, which means that shouldn't affect him as much as it would others. I think he's a reasonable choice. I think it's a reasonable choice to take him in the 5th round. I will take Abelard at this point just because he's free. This concerns me about Danny Barber. I don't know how effective you can be as a reliever in the modern game with a fastball that sits with such low average velocity. I'm willing to draft him and figure out if he can figure that out, though. I think I've made worse mistakes. I'm going to let my scouting director complete the rest of the draft. It's also important to realize that when I say our draft picks aren't working out, it's because we're drafting at the bottom of the draft almost every single season. That is a definite consideration. There's only so much I can do. Okay, Vince Callison, low-key, could be the best player in this draft. I love really well-rounded infielders. They're probably my favorite player type. Like, this is a guy who, if we had to make him play shortstop for a couple seasons, he wouldn't embarrass us. But he also would be great at either other infield position. I think Callison has a chance to be a really solid regular for us. Maybe not an all-star. I mean, he could always run into a few extra baseballs, but at the very least, he's the equivalent of Chris Hughes. And if that's his floor, I'm all about that. I'm absolutely 1,000% all about that. Let's see who makes the all-star team. I'd have to think Alfredo Mesa's got a pretty good chance to make it. But let's see. Oh, Ben Bilbrey. Alexis Pinto. Alfredo Mesa. Santiago Luna. I think this breaks Sean DeWitt's outfits. Like, where did you guys get Clay Freeman? He looks like a really good player. 2nd overall draft pick. Yep, I can't do anything about that. He's a shitty pitcher. No. All-star prospects. Julio Lerma, huh? He's a really good pitcher. Nelson Vigil. Okay. Let us advance up to the trading deadline. All right, let's start with the first question, which is what do we need? Our offense has more or less recovered? Question mark. This is such a hard team to get a grasp on because, first of all, we're relatively successful. We are 53 and 50. We're in a position to make the playoffs. That much is true. But we haven't had the kind of top tier performances that we're used to getting from our offensive players. A big piece of that is DeWitt, who has started heating up. But as Sean DeWitt goes, so goes the Oakland A's. And that hasn't worked out for us super well this year. Dennis Mendoza has been extremely disappointing. We have a replacement level first baseman right now. And I think this is something we can and must change immediately. And we will do with Josh Lynch. Oh, maybe we won't yet. No. Maybe not. Josh Davis can play first, and Davis is also really well-rounded. I'm going to send Dennis Mendoza to the minor leagues, and we're going to call up Josh Davis. That's step one. To a better team. What do I actually want? Interesting. So the solution is we pull Mesa and put him on first. I don't hate that. And I do think Juan Escobedo needs a bigger role than he's gotten. Like, he is a very talented player, and I just don't know why you're not playing him. Pitching-wise, I think Brexton May needs to be traded. We could rock Luis Blas for the rest of the season and get... No, actually, May is the better pitcher. I guess an elite level closer would be something that would make the whole team better. Potentially. I could trade Ben Bilbrey and try to make some improvements that way. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what options I have to actually make this team meaningfully better. Let's at least start the trade deadline and see who might be available. I choose not to afford that. The problem is the trade market really sucks this year. Like, nobody's offering anything interesting. Yeah, we're just gonna skip the trade deadline. I literally don't want anything. Like, okay, I could trade Ben Bilbrey. Because I'm not bringing him back. I guess there's an argument to be made. Yeah, let's trade him. I don't really want to, but I feel like we're obligated to. I like to look for a package of prospects. Oh, do not include other players. I do not want to include Feeney. I just want Bilbrey. Okay, I'm not really getting... Let's just do single players. I did not want all batters. I wanted all players. Sorry, game. CJ Kings is a really good pitcher. And I'd rather... Yeah, I'm going to do it for Kingsley. What if I can get you to throw in somebody else? What about Daniel Heredia? I wonder how hard it would be to get a hold of him. No, I'm not going to overthink this. We're just going to make this deal. I know it's going to make the fans a little bit sad because they like Bilbrey, but the fact is Kingsley's almost as good as he is. And we weren't going to keep Bilbrey. We just weren't. So. That is that. Let us finish the day. I did know that. That Graham Lloyd and Dave Nilsson were both Aussies. Okay, Wilfredo Rivera is doing his very best to prospect himself, which is amazing. That he's taking this huge step forward. Sam Feedy not improving is a bit more disappointing, but we will persevere. He throws hard as hell. He's got a really nice mix of pitches, and he just added a sinker. That's really good. I really need to sit down at one point and just start trading catchers. I've got too many of them. Nelson Vigil is probably our next best hope for a top tier position player, but he's got to make strides offensively. That's what we need. We're just going to do a right to roster expansion. And we will be making a couple of additions in roster expansion. How many times are players like Dan Espinosa going to bite me on the butt? Clearly dozens. Oh no, how long is Luna out? Please don't be out for long. Her. Oh, that's bad. I don't know who I can get to play shortstop. That one's the only place first and third. Damn it. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm thinking Aishala, because he is a really good hitter that can handle second, has some value to us. I think we're going to do that. I'm assuming you're going to slide Gallego over to third. Or shortstop would be my guess. No, you play Jesus Rojas. He is a fairly good shortstop. I won't deny that. So that's not the worst decision you could have made. But that does hurt. That does hurt. Oh, that is suck. Oh dear. Let's... No, we signed them all. Good. Good. Where's the youngster? Where is Carlson? He's presently in high. He's presently in A-ball. Okay. Oh, that is the worst possible timing. Thankfully, Shamar Pamphile is already looking like he's going to be a special pitcher, which is great. Who did I trade you for? Oh, you're part of the McDevitt package. Okay. Caleb Loris actually ended up having a reasonably okay major league career. And what about Frank Moreno? He is available. A Ross exchange in time. Dunlap, Harjany, Bloss, Jared Jackson, Espinoza can come back for a bit. Yeah. We get Mesa back, which is arguably critical. Damn, we just scored 18 runs. That's wild. That is wild. The Angels are cooling off. There is a chance with a big series or two that we could overtake them. Georg Hunt's out the rest of the year. That's no bueno. I feel bad for Hunt, though. I like how he doesn't even matter. Like, nobody cares. That's funny. Like, we just lost a pitcher for, like, 6 weeks. So, like, yeah, it's not that important. The reason I say that is because Hunt has never gotten a full season in the major leagues until this year. He actually acquitted himself quite well. He's actually acquitted himself very well this season. So that's why I feel bad for the guy. This was his first season of getting a chance to show what he could do without being instantly sent down to the minors when the first injury happened. Let us continue to advance time. There's a very mediocre AL this year. Other than the Tigers and to a lesser extent the Yankees, very few teams have dominated this year. Unless you're realistic, we're not getting a bye. We're not going to be able to overtake the Tigers or the Yankees in the short term. That's just not happening. Guys, Wilfredo Rivera really keeps impressing me. Like, remember, this is a guy that we found as like a generic scout project. And he has improved a lot this year. Like, so much. He improved his velocity, added a sinker. I mean, he is pitchable in the major leagues right now. That's what's really impressive. I could start him right now, and he'd be better than a couple of others I could say. And let's not miss a critical factor. This fucker is putting up a 4 ERA in the Pacific Coast League. That is wild. That is truly, truly wild. Mike Harper, get fucked, nerd. I don't want you on my team anymore. Because I actually want to promote Mike Muncy to get another arm in the bullpen. Man, Pamphile is already proven to be an excellent pitcher. He could be special. He truly could. Truly, truly could. Nice job, Sam Feeney. Nice job. I want the full seasons. I don't want the silly pennant chase right now. I'm trying to work out the scenarios here. Oh yeah, we missed out on the division title this year. That's fine. We made the playoffs. That's all that matters. That is all that is required. All right, playoff roster. Who are we leaving off? Muncy makes sense. Price makes sense. No, I'm good with this postseason roster, actually. Okay. Do I? Yeah, you can go to the minors. Interesting that we're going in this order. We're not starting with McDevitt. Oh, he might just be tired. Yeah, he is tired of it. Okay. Ouchies. And wow. Oh, it wasn't McDevitt's fault. We give him a fucking 7 spot. Like, holy meltdown, Riggins. And yes, it was triggered by a couple of errors, but still. Look, big game Chris McDevitt got it done. He had a great game. And then Riggins comes in and just disintegrates into 1,000 pieces. Damn, son. I mean, this kind of a wet fart finish is kind of what we deserve, though. Like, we weren't a great team at all this year. Yeah, fuck you, Orioles. We'll go to the end of the playoffs, and then we'll break down how the season ended and what could have gone differently. I mean, I'll take Georg Hunt back. I do like him, but... Another Subway Series. Come on, knock it off, New York teams. Figure out some other sport. Play pickleball. Leave the majors. Fine, Bobby Stoll. We'll start a charity. All right. So step one, do we keep Luna? This is an interesting question. It is a truly interesting question. I don't know what the answer is here. So, new budget. We are in the hole quite badly. Mostly because of arbitration. We lost Scott Chambers and then Goddard. I genuinely don't know if it's worth keeping him. I mean, the guy's been an amazing player, though. Like, if we let him walk, who are we replacing him with? I don't think we have anyone. I think we have to execute his option. I don't think I have a choice. I'm definitely keeping Mesa. Mesa had an outstanding season, and there's no reason not to keep him. Chris Hughes. I think I'm going to decline his option. He's already 30. He had one of the worst offensive years of his career. Remember, he's always been league average or slightly above for the most part. He's still a solid player. But we are a long way removed from his random MVP award. Very far away from that. And I think the savings we would make by letting him walk is substantial. So I think we're going to go ahead and decline his option. Let us now break down the team. Who played well, who did not play well, and where can we get better? So Sean DeWitt once again led the team in WAR. However, he was significantly down from his peak. He is becoming vastly overpaid at this point. And that is a real shame, but it's a fact. As long as he's producing at this level or better, he's still worth it. But I am concerned about his decline phase. Especially when I don't have any team options built into at least 37, which will almost certainly be opting out of. But DeWitt was our best player once again. Alfredo fucking Mesa. 41 homers. 4 wins above replacement. And oh, by the way, he was relatively healthy. The only thing he disappointed me is he's a terrible fielder. Just terrible. But we are not as good as we are this year without Mesa. Mesa was phenomenal, and for pennies on the dollar, it was just a good season for him. As predicted, Gallego slipped back pretty substantially, but he's still a useful player. He still hits reasonably well. He still has pretty good base running instincts, and he's still a pretty good fielder. This all makes him important to keep around for the next generation of the Oakland A's. Robbie Herbertson played more this year than he did last year, and he is proving to be an excellent hitter. We just need to find him a regular position. But he has been an excellent hitter. He's already talked about. Giuliano's defense is otherworldly. He is so good defensively. Like, I can't even begin to describe how amazing it is to see these ridiculous percentages. Like, he is so good. So good. I mean, I'm not going to repay for just good defense, but it's worth noting. Ronnie Small might be the best backup catcher in the major leagues. It's a shame he's not a very good catcher, because Sean Mintz was a bit of a bust this year. Juan Escobedo wasn't very good either. His step back was extremely disappointing. Extremely disappointing. Jesus Rojas fucking sucked, but that's what happens when your actual good shortstop is on the IL. Because he had a fantastic season. Not as good as years past, but still pretty good. So none of the offensive players, other than Mesa, really were like, this is my team. We're going to dominate. It's going to be amazing. That didn't happen. Our pitching was very, very good without being otherworldly. Chris McDevitt had another fine year. Chris McDevitt is also overpaid. More so than DeWitt. A starting pitcher making $35 million a year should basically be in Cy Young contention every year. He has not been. He has a single All-Star appearance to show for it. He's an excellent pitcher. I am glad we had him, and he has a big-time postseason record. But this is a lot of goddamn money for a pitcher that hasn't really earned it. Like, his best season by far was 2038. He's got a rubber arm, and he's a good pitcher. But for the amount of money he's making, he needs to be a transcendent pitcher, which he is not. He is not going to make the Hall of Fame. I don't know if we have an Oakland A that could make the Hall of Fame right now, to be honest with you. DeWitt is probably our best bet. We got through the year relatively unscathed with our bullpen. I do think there's more to be had here, but we weren't awful. We weren't terrible. And Pamphila is looking like a really nice addition to this club. The problem is our lineup is getting more and more expensive every single year without necessarily being better every single year. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know where we find that next big time player. I mean, Nelson Vigil's got my vote. But he's also... Where is he? I don't know. I mean, Callison is clearly going to be important. The faster he can develop, the better off we'll be. And he has had 2 pretty solid seasons in the minors. So if he can get moving up the chain, that would be greatly appreciated. Man, I don't know about Sean Mintz. He's a catcher whose only asset is his defense. Is his defense. I don't know, lads. I would like to make one trade to end the episode. I do want to trade David Campus. Just because I don't need another catcher, and I can hopefully turn him into something interesting. Like a decent infielder. Actually, let's do regulars and let's look at infielders, because that's what we need most. When I said infielders, I did not mean first baseman. I guess that's on me. Let's look at shortstops. Alright. So let's begin with the Nate Weagle. Not a good defender. Moving on. So far, Frank Figueroa looks like the best one. Which is really disappointing, but that's where I'm at right now. You got a lot of shortstops. One of them is bound to be decent. Bilberry is a maybe. Larson is a no. Pratcher is a maybe. I do think Mr. Bilberry, though. No. I think Pratcher is the current winner for what that's worth. I don't need Ed Arnett back. I know what I've gotten him. Or maybe we do need Ed Arnett back. Tempting. Bausa, not so much. I think Herrera might be the call. Unless I can get more than one, like to hedge my bets a bit. Emery is awful. He is a shortstop in name only, and I don't want any part of that. Yeah, you all suck. I like Griggs a lot. Graggs a lot, actually. He's got decent offensive skills. He's a little error prone, but we could hide him at second base. I do think Graggs is the new leader in the clubhouse. Graggs. Let's try to get Graggs and Ferrer. That's what I'd like to get, if I can manage that. Please and thank you. Where's Ferrer? No. No Ferrer. Ferrer? Cordell? I don't see him. Have I gone fucking blind? Oh, was he a 40 overall? It might have been a 40. Okay, I have genuinely lost what's left of my mind. I do not see this gentleman. Unless he's not a prospect, maybe that's the issue. Is he in AAA? He might be in AAA. And what league are you in? You are in AAA. There you are. Yeah, I think this is fine. We're trading from a position of weakness to a position of strength. I think that's important. Like how that instantly killed my catching depth, which is really funny to me. That is hilarious. It is a non-stop comedy overload. I'm also going to put Rivera on the 38 man. I don't want to lose him for nothing. Gordy McGath, we could maybe keep him. I haven't decided yet, but we will decide that next episode. I don't know how bright the future of the Oakland A's is. It is of medium brightness, I think. I think our pitching staff is pretty solid. I think we're in good shape there. Our lineup still has some unique players that are really dominant. The problem is the secondary staff isn't getting it done. I think a huge part of our success is going to be finding a way to get the most out of first Robbie Herbertson. That's a given. And leveraging the best we can out of the players that we have. I regret signing McDevitt to the giant contract that I did. This season coming up is going to be a hard season because we have to make some difficult choices about who to keep and who to get rid of. We cannot afford to keep Bobby Stoll, I don't think. Which is a shame because Stoll's one of our consistent... That's what makes me angry. Like, Stoll is like 90% of McDevitt for almost a quarter of the salary. Like, our payroll's $171 million projected. There is over $100 million of that tied up into 3 players. Like, looking at it now, it's obvious that that's a stupid decision. But I think at the time I really felt like we had to do it. But I genuinely think that is something that's going to have to break. And if it means that we don't have the big name players, then I guess we have to not have the big name players. Our team is very young, which is excellent news. Because it does mean there's always a chance for improvement. And that'll be really helpful. But we got a lot to think about. We've got a lot to think about going forward. Mistakes are made. I still feel good about DeWitt. Like, even in a down year, DeWitt, again, assuming 8 to 10 million per WAR, has more than earned his money. Sean DeWitt is our best, maybe our only hope of getting a Hall of Famer. Because if you look at all-time A's, remember, this is just all-time A's, right? For career WAR, like, Sean DeWitt comes in at 10. He's got a long way to go if he's going to make the Hall of Fame. Like, there's so much here that he's going to have to get better at if we're going to get a Hall of Famer out of him. Like, conservatively, his WAR has to double. Conservatively. And look, he's been durable. He only misses a handful of games each year. He's been a high performer. So it's conceivable that he gets there. But the thing is that other than him, we haven't had a single great player. Which is really confounding to me, because one of the things I used to be able to count on, but... I mean, let's not forget Peyton Green. Peyton Green may make in the Hall of Fame. He's not. It's hard to say. It's very hard to say. Who the fuck is Bing Miller? Oh, he retired a long time ago, so I never heard of him. That makes me feel better. I just don't know, friends. I don't know how we're going to get a Hall of Famer. Even pitching, right? Like, we don't have any of our... I don't think we have a career leader in WAR right now that is currently pitching for the team. And all it's going to take is 26.1 to break into that. I thought McDevitt was over that already. Okay, 26.1. What is McDevitt at? 24.2. So, reasonably speaking, McDevitt cracks the top 10 next year. Which is fun. I wish you could see career stats. It does annoy me that it's difficult to see that. Like, just give me a scope career. Do I pick Major League Baseball? No, that doesn't help. It doesn't give the career numbers, which is what I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. It is here. Time frame. Careers. Yes. Wait, really? Chris Hughes is our number 2 guy in terms of career WAR? That's wild. Yeah. We've had a lot of turnover. And here's the thing. This is particularly surprising given how good we are. How do we just do... No, not last year. I want this year. Oh, just do split none. There you go. Yes. We have been a successful franchise. A very successful franchise. We have 5 world championships to our name. I thought we had 5. No, I guess we only have 3. 3 championships is really good. And we have a very long streak of making the postseason and doing some damage when we get there. This is all to the good. However, what we do not have is we haven't had superstars have consistently good careers in Oakland. Part of it is that we can't afford to keep our players. Like, we cannot. Because John Fisher is a giant asshole. I have to have a bottom third payroll. Like, there's no getting around that. Like, there isn't an option to avoid that. It's just how it is. So we have to be super cost efficient, which just basically means we have to get great seasons out of rookies. That's the only way we can compete. And we've been getting that, which is amazing. That's a fantastic feature. But we can't count on it. We absolutely cannot count on it. We've got to get veteran players having big seasons with us. Like Alfredo Mesa. But we have a lot of our money tied up in just a handful of players, and that is going to hurt us immeasurably going forward. But next thing's going to be a really interesting one. If DeWitt opts out of his contract, we're both going to have a lot of payroll to spend, but we're also going to take a huge hit in terms of popularity. At least I'll get a draft pick for him. Like, there's no way in the fucking hells I will not give him a qualifying offer. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give Chris Hughes a qualifying offer. That would be ridiculous. I'm not going to pay him $20 million. That's absurd. Raheda? I will offer you a minor league extension if you would like to claim one for your very own. And our pipeline seems... I don't know, guys. We've got some really high potential players. Our issue has always been developing them, which is not ideal, but... we also don't have a lot of talent in the high minors. Most of our talent is fairly deep into the minors. But we just got to keep plugging away. We've got to wait for the players like the Nelson Vigils, the Luis Ramoses to show up and show out. But they're all very far away. Very, very far away. Our only top 10 prospect, we have two top 10 prospects that are Major League ready. Josh Lynch and Wilfredo Rivera. And I don't know whether one or both of them will actually get a chance to be a big-time contributor. What is this stat line from? How do you have 4 WAR, Mr. Lynch? I think you're drunk, game. Like, that did not happen. Like, you do not have 4 wins above replacement. You just don't. I don't think. No, your total is 2.3, 2.8, 2.9. Oh dear. Ramos, I still have a lot of faith in you, potentially. You're going to be a really interesting dude. Like, you can very much hold your own at shortstop. But so much of your value is going to come into, can you ever make consistent contact? And I don't know the answer to that yet. Hopefully you can, though. Because we could really use an impact bat. For sure. Alright. Let us now end the episode. Like, Christie's leading off hurt this team in a very, very bad way. And this will always be a problem because the game sees fast guy go fast, and then you put him at the top of the lineup, which is no bueno. Luna's got to have quite a WAR already. Yeah, he's got 25. He's also a 2-time MVP, which is wild. Which is wild. Anyways, my friends, I hope you have enjoyed the episode. If you have, please remember to like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. And comment down below. Wednesday, we're finally gonna have that contraband police video I promised you guys months ago. So I hope you enjoyed that. It should be a lot of fun. But until next time, this has been Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you